seem to be a lot of issues on a variety of things that we're coming down to needing to lateral. So apologies for our late start. Let me start with the easiest one, perhaps, to deal with. This is House Bill 2572, House Draft 2, relating to privacy. This has been referred jointly to the committees on Commerce, Consumer Protection and Health, and Technology. And the purpose of the bill is to modernize the personal information for purposes of security breaches of that information. There are a lot of moving parts in that measure, and it needs some additional work. I took a number of amendments that have been provided to us, including a sunset date of 5 years to trigger a legislative review, a delayed effective date to 9/1/2020. We added back in parts 4 and 5 that had been requested by the city and county of Honolulu, among others. And we took many amendments from the Privacy Coalition and the Privacy Workforce, Privacy Task Force, rather, that had been established, also from the Hawaii Bankers Association and the state CIO. But I don't want to ask people to vote on a bill of this magnitude without having a chance to look over the contents. And SMA was not able to get it back to us for this morning. It's in final review, and so as soon as we get that, we will we will give copies to all of the committee members. I definitely want my co-chair's input to see if there's anything that we've missed or we've overreached. And then hopefully we will have something that we can vote on tomorrow. So if there are any additional updates to the draft that SMA is working on and that will be given out, we will be in touch with folks to let you know. So for House Bill 2317, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. House Bill 2572, we will defer decision-making to tomorrow, June 25, in conference room 229 at 9:30. Okay. The next item on our decision-making agenda is House Bill 2425, House Draft 1. This is relating to domestic abuse. It amends the definition under Hawaii's insurance laws and related domestic abuse protective orders to include coercive control between family or household members and defines coercive control. So we had good discussion with the folks yesterday. We are passing working off of the proposed SD1 from yesterday. Chair recommends that we pass it with amendments, and basically we're cleaning the effective date to upon approval. So are there any questions or comments on that measure? If not, recommendation is to pass House Bill 2425, House Draft 1 with the Senate draft. Chair votes aye. Who?
Okay.
Senator Chang, are you? He's not here? Okay, he's excused.
Okay. Michelle votes aye. Senator Wiedemann is excused.
I deferred that.
Senator Thielen.
Yes.
Senator Wiedemann's here.
He is here. Okay. Correct. Senator Thielen.
Yes.
Senator Wakai.
Yes.
Senator Favela.
Yes.
Okay, motion's adopted. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, members. Next one is House Bill 2317, House Draft 2, relating to securities. This was governor's package. It protects elders and vulnerable adults from financial exploitation in relation to securities. We have a proposed SD1 that includes the amendments requested by DHS for purposes of clarity and consistency and a clean effective date of upon approval. Any questions or comments? If not, recommendation is to pass House Bill 2317, House Draft 2 with a Senate Draft 1. Chair votes aye.
Okay. House Bill 2317, House Draft 2, passed with amendments. Is aye. Senator Shanks excused. Nishiharu is aye. Senator Rudman.
Aye.
Oh, he's on the thing.
Yes.
Hey, Senator.
Senator Thielen.
Yes.
Okay, Senator Wakai.
Yes.
Senator Vella.
Yes.
Motion's adopted.
Nice to see you, Senator.
Nice to see you too, Chair. I voted on the previous bill too, by the way. I just slipped under the radar there, but I'm here. Thank you for all your work on the bills.
Thank you. Okay, our next measure is House Bill 2202, House Draft 1. This is relating to cemeteries. Chair recommends we pass this with amendments to provide an effective date of upon approval. And it received support from a whole host of folks when we had the hearing yesterday. So the recommendation is to pass House Bill 2202, House Draft 1 with a Senate draft. Chair votes aye.
Okay. All the members present and also on video, any voting with reservations or objections?
Actually, can I just ask a quick question?
Sure.
So I know I talked with your staff yesterday. They were going to take a look at this. Does Department of Health regulations cover is there some other?
No, this is under DCCA.
Right. Yeah, because this was the one where I just had the concern that there is some type of, next to my house, there was a church that was there since 1961. The building ended up being condemned. So they ended up leaving and consolidating into another area, and the landlord for the property just knocked down the church and stuff. So it just occurred to me when I read the testimony that, there's going to be expectations by people whose parents are taken care of in these areas, that there's some type of.
That's covered in this measure.
Okay.
CC just sent this morning. I'm sorry. I can send this to you. You just got this morning.
Okay, according to DCCA, churches per se are exempt. And this codifies DCCA's current practice of not regulating the exempt church cemetery. Requiring perpetual care and pre-need trusts having the church submit annual financial audits and regulating churches would essentially be the same as what the existing statute require. Under these statutes, churches would probably not be able to provide perpetual care as it would be spending that money on maintaining the trust. With respect to pre-need, and as an aside, pre-need interment is different than pre-need funeral. DCCA would limit the exemption to cemetery authorities. The church's original bill exempted the church from inurnments, so they might be okay with limiting the exemption to cemeteries. I'm sorry. I appreciate Natalia giving that information, but I don't think it makes it any clearer than what it does.
Yeah, I guess so that is just my concern. So this particular church, because it's old and they've been there for a long time, there actually is burials there, but some of them are original Native Hawaiian families. So that's going to be governed by some of the historic laws about, burials. But what I'm more thinking about is, so let's say I have, my parents are cremated, I put the ashes at this church, I have an expectation it's going to be taken care of. I'm fine that they don't have to be regulated like every other cemetery, but I think there needs to be something as opposed to just a plain exemption. So that's what I was asking, if there's some type of.
Well, this allows the director to impose any statutory requirement upon an exempt cemetery by order of law if there are issues. And so I think it's covered. But they are an exempt entity under federal tax law.
Chair, I don't mean to be a pest, but I'm wondering if you could give, since we're coming back tomorrow for DM, could we come back on this one for DM and give me a day to go, because I thought your staff had done this. I think Department of Health does have some oversight on removal of remains or reinterment and things like that, and maybe they would be more appropriate.
This really doesn't govern that. And I'm not willing to put the cemeteries under the Department of
Right.
Health,
No,
since
no.
that was not what we were talking about.
Right. So I understand that the bill allows the DCCA director to impose any statutory requirement. Okay, I mean, you understand what the worry is.
I do.
Yeah.
And this bill may not take care of that, although it makes it clear that they have an obligation to do some things in perpetuity, even if the church goes out.
Okay.
Because that was the commitment they made to the individuals when they were buried there.
Okay. I guess I'm just going to go with reservations then
Okay.
if you want to move it.
Okay, thank you. All right, the recommendation is to pass House Bill 2202, House Draft 1, with amendments. Chair votes aye.
Okay, Senator Chang?
Excused?
He was on earlier.
I'm here, and I'd like to vote aye.
Okay, thank you. Michelle votes aye. Senator Rubin?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Senator Thielen?
Reservations.
Okay. Senator Mackay?
Yes.
Senator Favela? Yes. Okay, motion is adopted.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for the guys that are on the screen with us. Does that bring us to the end of our agenda? We,
Joint with AEN this afternoon.
okay, so members, we have a joint hearing with the Committee on Agriculture and the Environment this afternoon at what time, Allison? 1:30? In this conference room? I'm sorry? 224. Okay.
Yeah, that one I
All
marked it up,
right,
but
and
maybe
we
it's
have
not.
another decision making tomorrow. What time is our decision making tomorrow, Allison?
At 9:30, same room.
Okay, so we will join Ian this afternoon at
9:30.
this afternoon at 1:30 in conference room 224. And then we will reconvene in this conference room in the morning at 9:30 for some additional bills. We will wrap up so we can get them lateral. We are adjourned. Thank you, members.